Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be watching a video called The Dutch Headwind Cycling Championships Are Amazing. So I have no idea what a Dutch Headwind Cycling Championship looks like. Obviously it's got to do with, cycling clearly, but I don't know what's like the headwind part has to do with this. Maybe it's because, it's very windy. Like I know that the Netherlands in general tends to like be very windy, and that's why they have windmills because, they make the most of it. But I had no idea that this sort of contest existed. I'm guessing it's a sport. Maybe it's like the national sport or something. It wouldn't surprise me because I know that, cycling is very big in the Netherlands. So, but it's got to be something else because it's not just like cycling, on a street. It's just like cycling as a sport, as in you've got to be fast. So maybe, the headwind helps because, it's impulse and it helps you like gain speed. That's what I am imagining. I'm imagining something pretty wild. So I don't know if it's going to be like I'm imagining, but let's check it out. So comment, like, subscribe, and start.
I'm standing on the Oosterscheldekering, the largest part of the Dutch Delta Works. It is a mega structure, an enormous dam 9 kilometers long with 4 kilometers of sluice gates that can be closed to hold back extreme high tides and stop the Netherlands flooding. It took a decade to build, and it is a rallying cry of human planning, survival and achievement, and it is not what I'm here to talk about. 3 days ago a forecast came in. A storm is going to hit. Winds will gust up to 120 kilometers an hour on this barrier.
That's like a hurricane.
And so a different rallying cry went up. 3 words: We krijgen storm. A storm is coming, because today is NKTK Windfietsen, the Dutch Headwind Cycling Championships. Several hundred Dutch people looked at this weather and said, we're going to have a bike race in that.
The course is 8.5 brutal kilometers. It's a serious event with permissions and everything. We have a limit of 300 participants. All the bikes are the same. No gears and just an ordinary brake, and it's a typical Dutch bike.
Have you done it?
Yes, 2 times.
How difficult is it?
Very. I do triathlon in my spare time, and it's just as hard.
At high speed, up to 90% of the drag is from air resistance. And I naively assumed, because it's been 15 years since I studied high school physics, that it'd be an equal action-reaction thing. Double the wind speed, double the drag. But that's only true when there's no turbulence. In a situation like this, the drag increases with the square of wind speed. Double the wind speed, quadruple the drag force. The difference between cycling in a 15 kilometer an hour headwind and 120 kilometer an hour gust is 64 times the added drag.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. I really don't know. Do you regularly do bike races and things like this?
No, just for fun.
How do you think it's going to be?
Hard, very hard.
Okay, I'm glad they know.
And sure, it's a good, weird human interest story, right? People are doing a deliberately difficult thing and hurting themselves just enough that it's interesting. But this is a good place for it, because not only are humans literally pushing against the storm and saying, we can beat you, they're on a physical monument to doing just that.
Oh my God, it's
There's a big rock in the middle of the barrier with an inscription that translates as, here the tide is ruled by the wind, the moon, and us.
Oh my God, that's killer! Oh my God. Okay, yeah, this was great. I'm seriously that line, that last the phrase that is written in the rock, like that goes so hard. I loved it. It's like, okay, and it's not even for for this like the cycling race. It's just in general, because obviously that they're like this wonder of engineering. Is just like this damn bridge. I don't know what to call it, but I know, like, again, like he was like, they took like 10 years to build. Like, again, it's like a wonder of engineering and of like human nature and what builds and what humans can build. So obviously it makes sense that they have like this really like this wonderful inscription in this rock that really does like tell you like, hey, there's something to keep in mind. Obviously, like when you're of the nature of this structure that we just built, But it's like, well, you know what? But it's perfect. It's so fitting that you can also be applied to the cycling championship. It's like the headwind. I was imagining something like that. So I'm glad to say, because it was like, well, you know, I'm imagining something pretty wild. Although I think in my mind, I was imagining them with like suits, like actually like white suits and these like aerodynamic helmets of like, you know, with that weird shape. That was what I was picturing. It's like, it's funnier that it's very amateur in a way. You know, they're not prepared. They're not even wearing helmets, which I'm shocked because I was expecting helmets. Not only because it's like a cycling championship, so again, it's a sport and it's a serious sport, so I would assume you have protection, and because it's, you know, it's the headwinds, like it's gonna hurt. So it's like, well, isn't it dangerous? But I'm thinking, you know what, maybe it's not as dangerous as it looks. It's more hard, like it's harder on your body and of course on your strength and resistance. But I don't think maybe it's that. I don't know, yeah, because I'm thinking it's like, well, like what if you fall? But it's like, no, I don't think you're in danger of falling, because that's the whole point, because the whole thing is like, it's like so much pressure. It's like a pressure wall. That's what I'm imagining how it feels. So it's like, no, you're not falling. That's the problem. Like you can't like pedal. You can't pedal your way, because again, it's like you're against the wind resistance. It's very tough. So it's like you can't cycle. I'm trying to like move my legs, but you know, they're not doing anything. I can't really move. So it's not maybe that they're falling, because again, like when I'm seeing the guy that's like narrating this, I'm scared for like his body and himself, because he looks like he's just grabbing the camera like by a hair. He's like, the wind is gonna blow me like, I don't know, like a few meters, you know, off, because it happens, you know, when you're a very strong wind, like it can happen, like the wind actually moves you, and it's like, oh my god, yeah, it's like a hurricane. So you're like, or a tornado, you're thinking like the thing's gonna, I don't know where exactly I'm gonna appear, because the wind's gonna like move me over. But I guess because it's because we're seeing him like from maybe like the opposite side of where the wind is actually like coming from, and when they're the bikes, of course, because that's the whole point, you want the resistance. So it's like, no, it's like you're not in any danger of falling, so maybe that's why they are not wearing helmets. But, you know, I'm surprised they do have goggles, obviously, because the wind on your eyes is going to be painful. It's going to hurt you so badly. It's going to burn. I can't even imagine if you have like contacts. Obviously, you can't really like wear your contacts in something like this, because it's going to be like dust, the wind. It's going to be so incredibly painful for your eyeballs. So obviously they have goggles, but it's like you don't really get to wear protection besides, like, you know, like, I don't know, something for your knees, your elbows or something. It's like, no, none of that. And all the bikes are the same, which I like, because it neutralizes like the whole thing. It's all very neutral. It's more about, everything is about, you know, like how like the capacity of each of this sportsmen, of these people, of this, you know, I don't know, individuals. So it's like, again, you got to be like a pretty good cyclist. But it's really also really funny that they're like, well, you know, I'm not into cycling like at all. So it's like, okay, so why are you doing this? It's like, because it looks cool, it looks fun, which, you know, more power to them, because absolutely. But yeah, this is incredibly funny, and now I kind of want to watch one of these things live. But that was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.